Let's see. We got the timer. Oh, headset, Nick. Headset. Hi, folks. Wait. Yes. No, I'm going live. No, look. I can't work on that project right now. It's coming in the winter. It's coming, but no. Look. I don't. I got people liking the stuff. I'm live. I can't talk about. I will talk to you later. Sorry about that, folks. Nick Tuckert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Folks, I hope you're having a wonderful night. The Historical Fencing Guild is brought to you by the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and Hybrids of Sons of Gods. The Simple Sword and Fighting Axe are available through my author site, www.amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tuckert. That's me. I'm also supported by a wonderful group of Patreon members with new tiers coming soon for those who have been requesting them to be higher. And I'm supported by my corporate sponsors, those of Steve Clausen. Our prayers are with you, Steve. I hope you get feeling better real soon. And John Miner of Swakhammer Metals. In the very near future, we'll be talking about some videos for Swakhammer Metals. Hello, Thesis. Yeah, folks, we're things got a little colorful. Happy Friday. Yeah, about damn time. I'm sorry, I got a phone call last second. Actually, got several phone calls as I was logging in. Hey, I'm glad you're doing great, Steve. That is of extreme comfort. Hello, Cindy Kep. Well, folks, we have a lot to talk about today. And I just want to let folks rattle in. Please remember to hit the like button and share this so that I can fight that YouTube dragon algorithm. Wow, those glasses are dirty. Hail Frog G! We are mourning the alleged death of your NPC over at Dice Dudes and Dames, but don't worry, you know me. I've got something in my back pocket to help. Those of you who watch the weekly RPG I have been shenaniganed into running over at Red Valkyrie Presents know that my office was actually once again attacked by Shoggoths in live screen TV, knocking me off camera for a while. And hence the reason, if it looks like the walls are closing in, they are. Yes, folks. So let's pop in and say hi to everybody who's coming in the chat. And if you're watching this, please turn on that live chat. Let me go. Boop. And I am set for live chat finally. Hello, Cindy Kemp. I will be talking about you so much in the very near future, and everyone will get to hear it. Steve, you know you're the guy. Oh, absolutely. Froggy, your dice are incredible. That's the first time Shay's been able to roll actual damage on anything. It's a good thing that Frog Knights couldn't possibly be mass-produced and end up something like Zaku. Anyway, and hello, Foxy. I said hello to Thesis, so everybody is covered, battered, and slattered. Oh, God. Covered and smothered. Sorry, it's been a while since I've been able to eat at Denny's like a chunky man should. Boy, have I been busy. If I seem a little slimer... Seriously? Guy. Eyes. The project's coming. I am not going to tell you what I'm doing for it yet. That's still freaking NDA. Stop it. That's me getting back on my bicycle while I wait for other things to clear. It's coming, guys. Anyway, awesome. My frog trainer my frog trainer. I'm still hung up on Frog G. That's Waffle House. Ooh. Clear. Oh no, and yeah, I got my stuff covered and smothered at Denny's. But I can't wait to see it. That is the third video I was going to do. However, it got misplaced. I have to find where my trainer is so I can do that. I actually shot 2 videos today that I will be editing, but I cannot edit and run this show at the same time. So you guys will have to wait. The Patreon members will get it, and then I'll put up a poll how long on Patreon it should be. So once again, I hope that you will be at their mercy, but they are a merciful and generous, benevolent lot. The hooded council of people who make this possible, and who may or may not include some cephalopods. But that's okay. I am a humble servant of the interweb. Alrighty, now let's talk some shop. I got some deliveries in. Cindy Cap Foxy, to cover your question with Cindy Cap, she has a rather prodigious allergic background. So you probably want to message her directly through Facebook. So before, I can't wait to see how that sword cane turns out for you guys. I will be doing some demos and stuff with mine. I find mine to be a little wibbly, so we will go. But speaking of a little wibbly but go, look what came in. Now, this... I love my headset. I love the quality of sound. I love that I can run my fan, although I'm going to have to turn that thing off because it's blowing just a little too hard. Anyhow, but the cable is rather like this. I have about 3 more feet of cable. Not that I have much before I merge into the wall, but what I have is let me get an angle on this. This obviously bent piece of plastic is a 7/8 inch piece of molecularly high density HDPE. Now it has a bit more flex than I normally have, and yes, the walls are moving both figuratively in the wobble and actually closer because the Shoggoths triggered a landslide that actually unplugged my computer. When I rolled back, it rolled the chair into the backdrop, pulling the backdrop, opening the closet door with the way I had to emergency fix my backdrop, and then flinging assorted pole arms at me. And then Lydia literally jumped out with the pole arms. Everyone had a grand old time, but I was briefly interrupted in the RPG I run on Wednesday nights, which apparently has some merch coming. So I may have some sexy shirts on that front. I am planning to have merch for the Fencing Guild this winter. Lydia is the best employee I have. I give her a lot of flack, but at the end of the day, she usually does her job pretty well, considering the number of reality incursions that I have at any given point. I have what I'm referring to as the wibbly staff. Wibble, wibble, wibble. But 7/8 is indeed the exact measurement I like for Johnny. Yeah. Well, Johnny got to see the live frame of me going right before I cut out and the camera froze. So, yeah. And hi, Johnny. Glad to see you. What I am looking for those who don't know, is a nice synthetic short staff bow or Joe that I can use both for drilling, eventually as a cane, and work. It basically was. I watched the insanity unfold. Entropy and I have a very strange relationship. Oh, awesome, Johnny! If there's one thing I know, you'll remember this. Don't forget about this. And those who know. Anyhow, this does take a bit of a curve, worse when hot, and it's been very hot. But I'm going to see how this material works. I'll put some chair feet on, and I'll start drilling with it. I don't think this is the answer, but it's another step closer. And I do like having access to a fighting rod. And don't be pervy. But, it's not quite a cane. It's not quite a staff. It's a bit different, a little more aggressive. I quite like it. When I find the right one, I will dance a jig. And I may just order the supposed right one in a couple months as Historical Fencing Guild funds come in from the Patreon. Because I'm saving them up to do some pretty snazzy things in the near future. You're right, Foxy. I shouldn't ask to be pervy. So, But I will say this, 7/8 seems to be the magic number for a comfortable grip in cane and hilt for me. Now, if this were squared off or octagonal, this would be sexy as all get out, but we can make it work. And thank you guys so much. You're keeping, I got 5 viewers, 5 likes. I am a fat, happy little man over here. Speaking of things that make me happy. Yes, there are actually 2 routes confirmed how guild merch might be coming about. If one fails due to illness or complexity, I'll take the long route and go through Amazon. If not, we'll see. But good things are coming. Don't pick a safe word like more, Johnny. That's going to make people stop. Anyhow, pick something like rutabaga. Great safe word. In the words of, to paraphrase another great, well-known Steve, hello, 24 Eyes, but not that. I just got a box. Now, I had to open it because I've ordered some necessary household things, and basically Amazon. Ooh, you know what? We'll put it up on the Patreon list first. I definitely have a couple shirts I want. Okay, so you'll have to contact Steve because he's up to something. Now, my birthday came up. I turned 40. It was a very quiet affair, largely because we had a ridiculous spike of both illness and idiocy in my area. But I got a box to get now. So I did pop it open. But when I say I love this woman and what she did, in the winter I craft. And she sent me a note. And this one says, "Happy birthday from Cindy Cap." I got Hippo Birdie to use from Cindy Cap. And then I got like gift receipt things and send you a thank you note. And I hope your birthday is much fun from Cindy Cap. Y'all know the Hello Karambit is loved and now emulated. To those of you who don't know, there is a live steel edition floating around of the Hello Karambit currently in the hands of a certain deranged redheaded cat chick. And I mean that in the highest compliment. But the original trainer's here. Now, I have a knack for such things. But Cindy Kemp thinks we need more color in our soft trainers. So she sent me that is just not okay. Wait till I send you the pictures of the thing, Steve. It is glorious, and she made it of her own little heart. The barbarian, as it were. Absolutely. Look at this. Look. I mean, I've got brown, which you know speaks to me, black, white, red, purple, 2 shades of blue, 2 shades of green. Oh, I can be all kinds of representative for folks who want representation. I can be, and that was supposed to be absolutely silent. How wasn't it? Boop. We are going to do this, and we are going to do that. There we go. I told you, yes, I'm working on that project. No, you don't get to know about it. Already, Steve, there is another feline barbarian who is eminently capable of being both feline and barbarian. But that's not all, folks. For those of us who have a special flair, putting this down and fumbling to grab the other goodies in this box of glory, the brown duct tape is trying to speak to me because brown and orange are very much my colors when I default. Yes, I'm autumnal. Autumnal? I'm liminal. Anyway, I have 2 more that must be discussed. One, hello, zebra stripe duct tape. Look at this. Look at this. Hey, Jody McPhee's desk of a small press publisher, whose name I love, but boy, is it a freaking jumble to say. He's the guy I designed my part on the AWF stuff with. I am sorry. I will be getting to review what you sent me to see how it's coming again. And that's not him blowing up my phone. The people blowing up my phone are asking about something that may or may not be in. We'll say it has ties to Big Stompy Robots, the final edition, and we'll leave that there. Now, what you don't know is my dear friend Trelena. So if Joey or anybody has to say, look, Trey, I got more of the holy duct tape. This exact color was a proud, I tore my knee out fencing in the back. Wow. It was sort of underground fencing in a back room of a drill warehouse. These things happen. Isn't that normal? Don't you guys get shady industrial sword fights? Oh, it's just me? Anyway, so I wore this as a knee patch on my armor, and it stuck so well because the leggings I was using at the time. This worked really, really well. So seeing this is really more trippy. Cindy, you are a blessing to all who know you. And we don't deserve you, but you're one of the most awesome people out there. Okay, so that box came. We have that. Oh, Big Stumpy. Not. Huh. Hi, Ogre. I haven't forgotten about you. You will not be consigned to merely a butcher clone. You will be returning. See, the folks who watch both this series, that's all, folks. No, and the Red Valkyrie Presents Dice Dames and Dudes know that certain commenters have been pulled in as NPCs. I have to check. Oh, wait. I did not know that is supposed to glow in the dark. There is nothing like you have. Okay, Sydney, you have no idea how much of a I love glow in the dark addict I am. I'm just gonna. Yes, it is. It's Firefly. Firefly, aside from being one of the greatest sci-fis ever, is also the line of glow in the dark duct tape. All righty then. May the funk be with you. Oh, go. What's that, Lando? Anyway. Oh, no. Reality and I have nothing to do. That's fine. Ooh. And it's out there. I've seen leopard print. I'm just gonna call you Jody McVie or Joe, because trying to say from the desk of a small press publisher, yeah, guys, speech impediment time. I can teach anybody to sword fight, but don't make me use long words when I'm having a day. And I have spent today actually filming, so that's not me not knowing how to count. That's my nerves not knowing how to listen. I have 2 new videos that are in the can on my phone waiting to get pulled and edited and thrown up for there'll be a secret link for the Patreon guys to see first, and then it will be released to the public. They are one that's talking about the spears, including a short review on Swakhammer Metal's spear designs and what John's been doing. I'm looking forward to that. And the other is me going over the top 3 offhand trainers that you should buy. And part of that is, I know you guys have heard me talk about what I call the Trinity many, many times, but I want to see how that works and how that affects the algorithm. I've heard that top number lists get better billing, so I'm going to give it a shot. Now, I'm seeing commentary where they're talking about a test, and it looks like I missed something. So it says live chat. That stupid test reaffirmed things. The test was in for surprising. The internet does love lists. Are you talking about the morality test? Because, I've had several attempts at nicknames and titles that have stolen, that have been attempted to be pinned on me. I've carried many names across the diverse groups and organizations I've been in one form or another. And many of them, most of them don't stick, but the title, the Forever Acting Paladin, has stuck in certain circles all these many years. And yes, the alignment test. I'll give you a hint. I'm a good guy. I can't help it. I've given it up. And yeah, well, it's also a short test. And a couple of those questions were weighed a little funny because I have a hyper literal mind. So it's really easy to scunch a test that only has 20 things. Johnny Cage identifies as chaotic stupid. That is beautiful. But guys, don't worry about it. And it is just one test. Think about what you can do about it. If you don't like how it came up, well, it's a great time to reevaluate how you approach the world and what you think about it. Yes, well, see, there's a type of lawful good where it's your code, not the code of others. So it gets very difficult. For example, I am very rules oriented, but whose rules are the ones I'm oriented to is where it gets interesting. Hi, government watchdogs. Still not a threat, just a guy teaching people to sword fight so they feel better about themselves. Yay! Anyway, sorry, there have been some miscommunications in my life, so I just like to make sure that my private message and my public message line up consistently when they do the online psych evals of me and find out, yeah, he's goofy, but he's harmless. Exactly. And it's interesting. And yes, folks, thank you. I love how people are coming in and they're hitting that like button. This is how I'm going to fight the YouTube algorithms and get the message out there, because I think everybody deserves to learn to sword fight. Now, emotional support swords. Yes. What do you think this is? This is literally hanging on the wall. Oops, I'm diabetic or whatever. But last thing I take off in the morning off the hook, first thing I take off, glows in the dark, so if the lights go out, I immediately can see it, even though I can reach for it blind. Now I do have to talk. There were some Nerf battles going on. This is my newest Nerf gun. I lost it, found it. I'm way too happy. And I'm very proud of my son because I've taught him that as Nerf battles happen, it's stay strapped or get clapped. And I went to ambush him, and he was on the potty, and I round the corner, and he had a jolt ready for me. I have never been more proud. But this is not a Nerf gun channel, but I will always love them. And that's about as firearm based as I get most of the time. But this is nice. It might even partially support my weight. I do find myself over the years being more drawn to the same set of weaponry. I mean, I can use them all, but let's just cap that. There are certain ranges and absolutely always prepared. Ford Prefect can't be mostly harmless because Ford Prefect is not human. He simply looks human. I believe he's from Beetlejuice. But I'm not going to say that 2 times fast because I don't want to cross the streams here. That's adorable. I've had rings, I destroy them. I've had items of jewelry. They either walk away or if I need a cross, it will appear in the wild. It's that sort of thing. I've just come to accept that. And then it'll disappear when somebody else needs one. It's weird. We work with it, we roll with it. Now, excuse me. I'm a little punchy because I had to reshoot my videos a couple times because people like to drive around in their golf carts with loud boom boxes playing things I don't have copyright to. That's ridiculous. Okay, okay. Give him some 1.5 citizenship. I'll give it. Just remember, one of my hobbies is taking nouns and turning them into verbs. To shank. Anyhow, and yes, it's in colorful marker because the black wore off, so I'm messing with people. Mostly keeping the branding, but you got to have some amusement factor there. Anyway. Well, the trick is just to make sure you are littered with useful things around you at all times, and then you don't have to be prepared because you're in a pile of preparation. Okay, guys. So, for the first time in months, we had a couple days where it wasn't 80 degrees. Now, halfway through my filming, we decided to go from 70 to 80 with extreme. I've had bracers like that. Start looking for the replacement now so that you can preserve it. Also, try saddle soap. Saddle soap can help moisturize and repair the leather on goods. It's really good stuff. It's high glycerin content. So if you can't find saddle soap, you can get like glycerin for as a cleaning agent, and it will work very well. Yes. But that being said, so it means I got to actually go out and film some live footage before it got too hot. Oh, I'm sorry. Take a lot of pictures. Look around on Etsy. You might find a replicator. Yeah, depending on what it is, take it to the leather people to fix or replace it. Depending on what's wrong with it, I might be able to talk you through it. I've done a little bit of leather work in my day. Not so much now because my hands are semi-useless, but that's okay. I still remember how to do things. Now, folks, let's talk a bit. The weather's starting to break. We are in September, which is Nick summer. You see, my summer starts in that wonderful time when everyone is in school and I and my son can go places and no one is there. Okay, cool. Cool. You got to think of it as the spirit of the item. Ooh, ooh, that's funny. Silver, that's hilarious. What the shay as a verb is to fail successfully, and that is all the love in the world to Shay and Cy and Woodrow and Luke over at Red Valkyrie Presents. You guys, love you guys. You're one of the best gaming groups I've ever had, and I'm honored to GM, DM, and whatever else you guys con me into doing. Well, you know what? If only Thesis, if for lack of a Ren Fair, if only you had a group of people you could reach out and contact who might have this knowledge. See, post stuff up on the Historical Fencing Guild's public link, and we'll see it. I can get you a link if you want. Link for I don't know what link you're talking about, Syndicate, but I will say this because I can't put it into the. Actually, I think I can put it into the chat. Random plug for Syndicate, COEPP.com, a wonderful author. I will also throw up Risingtide.pub for my dear friend Brian K. Morris, who, if you are a writer, creative, comic book creator, and guys, the folks who write Slyvar Ogre, pass the word around where people are looking for advice and getting into comics. Talking to Brian is a good place to start. He's just a good guy. He is passionate on the subject of vaccines, wherever you stand on that, but he is a good guy. Now, we're not going to get into that, so nobody get into that. But Sim.com. Anyway, I am working on a couple new projects, and most of them are guild related right now. As it cools off and things rattle, I have some fortunate for me, unfortunate for us. I may get real busy in the next few weeks dealing with some personal projects. It's good stuff, but it's a lot of labor. Basically, I have a storage unit that will be moved down here. This is good. It's just going to be a pain. So some of my sidelines may be turned. And as for the hybrid stuff, Luke is still in ICU. So I'm still not taking commissions because assuming he comes out, Luke is going to need all hands on deck to help him get things back rolling. So I'm kind of keeping myself in reserve for him and his family. For the folks who know me through game design circles, I'm sure you can respect that. I believe loyalty to your partners is more important than profit. That's how I am. That's how I've always been. And that's good. Oh, Johnny. One. Yeah, hybrids looks like this. Oh. I want you to know, as an NPC, as a viewer, and as a creative, I am always keeping secrets. Okay? Just understand that. This is not the secrets you're looking for. Anyway. But, yes, good things are seen. Yes, Luke Stone. For those of you who do not know, Luke Stone what is my gaming partner. I have other business aspects that were in the process of being finalized before I could publicly formally announce everything that most people have figured out. But shut up! No one talks about the gnomes. Do not talk about the gnomes. Anyway, yeah, we're really disjointed today, but believe it or not, that's because I've been working my butt off in the sun to provide some stuff that will be rattling. That being said, I have some more deliveries that are supposed to be coming, so new reviews are coming, and the only reason we haven't, my wife's physical therapy is keeping her from fighting right now, but we're going to start doing stuff. Back to Luke Stone. Yes, Luke Stone of Hybrids is one of my associates, and he is in the ICU with, I believe, the Delta variant of COVID-19. He is sedated, intubated, on a ventilator, and has been for a week and some change. He is constantly in my thoughts and prayers, as is his family. And because I am loyal to him and what we've done before, I'm going to hold off to that. I hope that doesn't bother anyone. That being said, yes, thank you. I don't want anybody to be sick or miserable. That's kind of what I'm about. Now, let's talk shop. We have some neat things that are coming down the pipe. It seems like the absence of Game of Thrones, these bracers are so hot right now. We thank you guys for being supportive. If you've thought about buying his stuff, and this, I'm trying to remember his link, and I'm kind of fried. Now'd be a good time. Last I checked, everything was still on in demand for Indiegogo. So I think if you look up HFG.com/KillingFields2, you can find it. I can't remember if that link is still working. And his family will obviously need any financial support you're willing to lean his way. I'm the guy who thinks about that sort of thing. But I also, while we're here, and September, I believe, is Suicide Awareness Month. I recently found out I lost a friend to suicide. So it was of a sort involving them not seeking treatment for something going on. And that hit like a sledgehammer. So, thank you, Jody. If my energy levels fluctuate, I was going to just do my usual play it close. I'm not going to drop names because, frankly, outside of the family, it's nobody else's business. But I also will be honest, and if I feel I'm not giving you guys 125% energy, I don't feel I'm serving you right. So I may draw points or be a little sensitive to certain topics. That being said, let's get back on the ball. Guys, I've got some good stuff. I actually did an abbreviated Buckler video at the end of my top 3. We have a lot of games are coming out that are very medieval and not medieval fantasy that look interesting. There's a lot of talk about the depiction of Thor being a large, burly fella. You know, it's interesting to see body type representation for those of us who are chunky. That's great. I'm looking. There should be some really interesting sword fight movies coming out, and we need to keep watching that. While I'm not really a theater guy, I have an autistic son, so theaters and I aren't exactly a thing. Uh, this is a good time to at least catch the stuff on streaming, because I really am. I'm looking forward to some good fights. Right before the pandemic shut everything down, we had a string of frankly really painful movies where some of the fights hurt physically, like it did harm to my psyche. But yes, and not freaking blood. Uh, so I'm really looking forward to some upstanding fights, and it looks like some titles are going to be picked up. We're starting to see the rumble of perhaps more fencer style movies, and I'm a sucker for that. I think we're really due for a Zorro or maybe a Scarlet Pimpernel, and that's what I want to see. I want to see some more of that because I have lost faith in Star Wars as a fight choreography film, with the exception of what Dave Filoni has happened on, like, The Mandalorian, because Dave Filoni is a minor deity when it comes to what he's doing for the Star Wars universe. I said it, I stand by it. All valid and mildly distracting points there, Foxy. Anyway, so there's a whole row of win in that sentence, and I feel the same way. Um, that being said, what do you guys? I'd love to know what you guys are up to, what you're looking forward to. We're coming into Halloween, and I may have some game related questions for you because I'm doing a campaign that's going to go on longer, and I've been asked I may actually play as a forever DM. I tend not to be on the other side of the screen, and I don't mind it. Honestly, I love world building. My mind is basically there. The world's in there anyway. I might as well let you walk around and have fun. My daydreams are far more elaborate than most, and yes, you do. I'll have to look that one up. I haven't seen that one. But I know the good fights can happen. I would like to see more varied fight choreography. I know it takes time, guys. But it's like I would love to see more varied firearm choreography. If I'm not even sure how you would reframe that, but if you look in most movies, all the people who are bad guys move the same. The advanced tactical super troopers all do the same advance as the gun-toting gangbangers. I would love to see, like, not just skill levels, but fights vary between people. The Marvel movies are fairly good about making sure that people don't all fight the same, unless you're female. Jody, I can neither confirm nor deny anything on that that sentence. I am not. I can't discuss anything on the comics side of distribution or anything like that. I've heard really good things about Shang-Chi. And that's basically Ogre, you magnificent individual. This might be comment of the moment, because I had just said I would love to see, people fight differently especially, and in Marvel, they do it pretty well with the exception of female fighters. And Ogre drops it. This is someone who's been paying attention. Thigh around the neck, leg. Yeah, sorry, I'm laughing so hard. Ooh. I am the water. Thigh around the neck, flip, takedown, overdone? Never. Indeed, all female fighters are gymnasts. That is one thing I loved about Gina Carano. I am not speaking to her political or social beliefs. This has, let's just keep that in box B. Okay, we're moving that over here. She didn't fight like a female Rey Mysterio. She fought it in Mandalorian as Cara Dune, like somebody who was a fairly powerfully built woman fighting like a fairly powerfully built individual. One problem I have is when I see the logistics of someone very small doing a snap kick to someone very large, and I can tell there's no momentum in it. It bugs me, because I have known people who have been fed a line of easy break boards. Now, this is where what I do gets really difficult, because I'm all about building people up, and a lot of my students err toward the side of smaller. Now, at some point, we'll probably be visited by the glorious John Miner, who is one of the biggest people I've worked with. Not the biggest, but he is up there. That being said, yeah, you got to move really, really fast. Training will out, but you can get a pledge declaration. Thank you, Joe. He's sending the link. You'll have to translate it, because YouTube does not like to allow regular links. Yes, I do. I collect hobbits, and yes, physics do work. This is why when someone is smaller and lighter, if a physical altercation cannot be avoided, they have to be better trained, and they have to respond with sudden, overwhelming force, or adequate weapons to be a force multiplier. This affects the mentality, and it's really interesting, because when you engage and you're training, and this is something that needs to be discussed with especially larger men. Larger men are very comfortable engaging in very physical, what I call battleship broadsides. Okay, they'll get a long time, just boom, bam, 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 bam. Right. And I will get to that, Foxy, because you make a point that's interesting. So they'll go, and there's a comfort in that. Whereas, there's a saying, don't mess with a little guy; he's liable to kill you, because little guys have no graduated response. And when I say guy, I mean that's general. Okay, understand that? Big guy, little guy, big person, little person. Okay, I know it is a male term. I can only alter my linguistics so much, but it's there, and I'm working on it. Given that, exactly. That really is something that can. And little guys don't do that. They either want to get out or get it and get it done. It's an interesting mentality to process. And yeah, now you could build strength and you can get stronger, but it simply builds up the women and people of smaller stature have to train harder to overcome the strength of their opponents. And big guys who get the right trainer, who is a small person who devastates them, and I've seen this many times in military settings. You know, I have to be so careful these days, Steve. So I always, at this point, I'm always backstopping because it's so easy to get canceled and have problems. And no, I shouldn't have to, but I'm trying to help people, and I will take whatever double talk shenanigans I have to make sure people understand my intention. But yeah. Now, one thing I'm seeing a lot is, well, they're hobbits. Let's break that down. I want to talk, and before I get any, yeah, you have strength, timing, and reach are vital. Exactly. You have to be able to understand your reach, your timing. Speed is good. Timing is actually better because if your timing is superb, you don't need much speed. Watch big old boxers. I was actually watching the YouTube channel for Hype Fight, and there was an older heavyweight boxer, big guy, and he's talking to these little guys. And this guy was a champion. I cannot remember his name, but you know, the big guys are bouncing, the little guys are kind of bouncing around, and they're flexing their abs. He's a big, heavy guy. Hands come up, and you watch him move, and it is minimalist. If you are trained, training is learning economy. Mastery is economy of action. It's not elaborate because a master doesn't need to do something elaborate. A master does the minimum of what they're doing at the time. I don't need to jump across the room to avoid a punch. I just need to be about a half an inch away from wherever that punch thinks I'm going to be and then do something about it. I know many, many people of certain size and skill set who are waiting for that punch because they're going to be this far. Their nose is going to stop at the max of your extension this far, and then they're going to start doing the bad things to you. Exactly. It has to. Hi, Kǎijié. And I can remember your name because Alice isn't dead. That's the only way I remember my name. And Kǎijié Acuff is a wonderful lady. I've watched a bunch of her shows. She overlaps with the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Yay! But what I'm seeing is something interesting, especially in women. I'm going to use fantasy racial terms to cover the build and attitude I've encountered with smaller female students. There are three basic mentality. I'm sorry, there are four. There are four. Got to remember the fourth. Four basic mentalities you will find in the smaller size student, especially female. When people say they're saying hop, they mean gnome or pixie. Okay, the ultra lightweight dancing. I'm gonna work with you, build up your speed, give you very light weapons. You're going to be fast, and you're going to be a counterpuncher. So let them extend, slice up whatever they've handed you that you can hit outside of their range, that they can't hit you. So max out their range and then do something to this part. If you talk to my students, people in the SCA for a while there could identify anybody I trained because I trained a malicious group of arm snipers. This right here was our fencing bread and butter. It is a bit of metagaming, but the idea being get them to overextend and then hit where they can't respond. It's shady when big guys do it. But hey, my job is to make everybody better. When we talk the small approach, when I'm dealing with small people, you'll get somebody who, they have a light, lithe build. This is your gnome, your pixie. This is the very small, very slender, very waif-like. This is elven, but not the tall, willowy elf. It's just short elf. I'm going to teach them that. Hobbits are a different class. Foxy, I would put you in either a hobbit or dwarf class because I haven't seen you fight. But hobbits, one, they're learning to fight to defend themselves usually, but they don't usually have a lot of bloodlust until they do. They're going to be fairly defensive, moderately mobile, but not. I've had some people who are very, very agile. They're literally dancing around the field. They're so much fun. But the hobbits usually aren't. They're not usually martial artists. They're of Midland build, maybe a little heavy set. Nothing wrong with that. They're gonna kind of take it cautiously, and there's nothing wrong. They tend to be the smart ones, though. They often are snipers, or where they're gonna keep their guard, keep their distance till they find an opening, F it up, and be done. They don't want to play. The Hobbit mentality will just freaking kill you. They do, it is very much the survivalist mentality. I have found young ladies who are and men, but remember, a lot of who are survivors of long-term family abuse, people like that, develop. It's the same mentality of retreating to your bedroom and holding the bedroom with a kid until somebody comes through the door and then just freaking murderizing them. That mentality takes a while to build up the confidence to fight, and they may progress into another mentality, or they may be kind of mellow folks. I would be a hobbit if I were allowed. The next mentality is the goblin, and I love my goblins too. I love you, Steph. Stephanie is let me put it this way. Stephanie is the inspiration for the Goblin Queen in the RPG that's coming. She is wonderful and manic. The goblin is going to decide that is bad or that is what I want. I'm going to jump on its shorts. I'm going to chew through their Achilles tendon. Knife it, hammers for the front of the. Oh no, that's not them yet. They're going to throw flurry of blows and just mainline. They're kind of terrifying. So hobbits are great. I love you too. Goblins are great because they're just coming at you, and it's all about when you're dealing with a hobbit. It's somebody who has at one point or another snapped. I'm sorry, not a hobbit, a goblin. I'm jumping around. Goblins have that mentality where they have snapped. They went through trauma and it broke something in them. And now when they get near it, they give 0 Fs. They're going to give 1,010%, in part because they've decided they're already going to lose, so they're going to get their pound of flesh on the way out. They're the ones you have to watch calibration for and mentality for. Because they're going to keep coming, and they can lose grasp of sparring fight or flight versus real fight or flight very easy. Then you get the dwarves. The dwarves are the women, and they are good, and they are stout, and they are not going to chase you, and you're not going to move them. They're the Captain Americas of female fighters. 1 foot here, 1 foot there. They're either going to take a shield and a stick, they're going to pillar, and come on. They'll weather the damage and take theirs. They are shorter tanks, and they're just going to advance. Or they love... Now, dwarves... No, don't let anybody fool you. Dwarves love their pole arms. And no, I'm not talking about people with an actual, dwarfism as an illness, although I'm sure that may apply too. But from the fantasy mentality, these are stout. These are people who are shield walls. And I get that for you, Foxy. It's like, I'm not going to do the thing. I don't want to. And believe it or not, a lot of times I get students, and new students start out very, very fresh out of the Shire hobbitness. These are the ones you have to work through the lizard brain, but I don't want to hurt my friends. I want to learn to sword fight, but I don't actually want to hit anybody. And that's a natural, frankly, it's a beautiful thing. And in a better world, I would be able to leave you guys alone and say, you don't need to, dear. But we don't live in that world, so I teach what I teach that they can learn, and we build them up out of it, and they usually pick a slot afterwards. Well, a lot of the more mellow hobbits will evolve into the dwarfs, where it's fine. This is business. Let's get it done. So this is an odd breakdown, I realize, and it is meant complimentary. Exactly. It's the I don't fine. I'm doing this, and then you're going to do the job in a relentless. Uh, if you've ever known a woman who, when mad, reminds you of Michael Myers, that she's just coming, man. You're doomed. You're doomed. It's gonna get you. There are evolutions beyond that. I have known some like somewhere between goblin and gnome, you get the imp mentality, and they're just gonna cut you and they'll get you later, and they're terrifying. But I love my small folks. I deal with the big guys too. I've got big guys who fall into this dude isn't at work, or this dude just I'm a fighter. I hit barbarian. I'm gonna hit this with a stick. Get mad, whatever. And full size dwarf dudes. That mentality exists too. Hi, Jim. I love you, man. Even if I'm not seeing you, even if you missed this video, I still think about you. You're one of my favorite dwarfs. My buddy James Robertson, if given the opportunity, people were mad at me because I fought him. I'm like, you need a shield. What? Well, I'm already defensive, yes, and you can either try to work out of that or double down. And I basically turned, Jim Robertson became a dwarven defender. Now, Trey, to go down the line using this kind of shorthand for understanding some of the people I fight with, Trey is an elf. She is an elf. She is an elf. She is an elf. She is an elf now. She's an elf later. She is an elf. But she's like of the bog witch variety elf, like barefoot in the swamp. Like, I'm natural, but I will gut you and I will feed you to the things. She's got her raptor claw with her tortoiseshell. She's got her low hanging chillax gigante fabris. That's Trey, and I love you, darling, if you're out there watching. Now, Steve. Oh God. How do I explain Steve? I'd have to get real specific and deep dive, double down the geek, but Steve can be a bit of a Thimbledorf Pwent. Steve would like to be a bit of a battle rager. I'm going to take short weapons, and I'm going to just come get you, and I'm going to fuck you up. It's going to be lots of cuts and things. I can see, now Steve can be suave. He can be very calm, very cool, kind of intimidating. He likes his big weapons, but he also, when Steve gets knife happy, it's like, just give the man spiked armor and let him hug people. I can see him doing that happily. He may or may not carry a weapon because he is the weapon. And then, like people like Dude, who we had a falling out, and I kind of regret it. But Dude was just a straight fighter, and it sounds funny, but he's a fighter. That's what he is. He's going to just do the job very efficiently, very ruthlessly, very mechanically. He was a very technical fighter. Bordered on an assassin. Yeah, hugs for all. If you could hug with death, you would. I get it. Although, Steve, you really should play with Spear more often. It's not fair, but you should play with Spear more often for reasons. No. I'm a PSS. I don't... deadly hugs, yeah. And when I know somebody, I can get real kind of in the head and break down, and my mind starts to break. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Thesis is definitely. I've watched some of his fighting. I think he shared a couple videos. Thesis is very monkish, and it's funny because my brain starts going, what kind of bender are you? I'm a pass. Okay. And Thesis is an interesting. I need to watch him do open-handed more because he's not fire, and he doesn't have that stout aggressive for Earth, so he's probably a waterbender. You know, there's a lot of fluid. I can see Thesis and Sword Sage. Love you, man, wherever you are. Just having a grand old time. Really, I can. But now, my buddy John Miner, this is that mix of an ogre and a giant. He can be eloquent, but he can be eloquent with the telephone pole. It ain't fair, it ain't just, and it's why Colonel Colt made Gods Equal. Well, okay. Oh, avoiding the hugs. Yeah. Oh, no. PDAs of any sort are consent is king, folks. And you know what? Let's take a second. One, we're at the hour mark. I wanted to put a huge shout out to my beloved Patreon members. I am made possible by the folks who come to www.patreon.com/The Historical Fencing Guild. Look for the boot. And for the folks who buy my books through Amazon at www.amazon.com/author/Nicholas Talker. I'm a proud member of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, and I have the new sheet somewhere. And if I find it, I will show it, but I actually have a commercial that will be on my non-live stream, my recorded videos, to talk about how awesome the Rising Tide Broadcast Network is for the folks who are doing things. If you want a chance, look up Brian K. Morris, follow him on Facebook, follow his YouTube channel. Great conversations, diverse trains of thought. I believe I want as many thought out perspectives as possible. This is why the political leanings of the groups I'm in are rather diverse. I have extremely liberal friends. I have extremely conservative friends. A gambit of some very religious, some very atheistic, an assortment of pantheons, because I want to understand. And I think that's one of my what I get out of all this is I get to help people, and maybe I get to understand more. And it takes time, but I really dig it. You would do better than you think. I'm sure Sword Sage would prove a very effective opponent, and he has, I assume, kept his training up and increased since I've last sparred with him. But I think you would probably hold your own okay, especially as he's diversified his interests. It's funny because I will say this of my dear friend Sword Sage. I think when he was focused on a single style, he was more effective. He's gone on an exploration, and I've done the same thing, and I find myself needing to pull back. This last practice really reminded me that what I need to do is pull back and just allow myself to fight my style when I'm not teaching. I don't need to ape or imitate another style. It would be good. For those of you who would like to see it, it is very old, but if you go to the Sword Sage channel and you look up me and my Mr. Fix-It, you will actually see a edited, because some of the parts were cut, a version of some of the sparring we used to do when I was much younger and more agile. Still chunky, but that's okay. And the narration is colorful when looked, but that's part of Sword Sage's charms, and I love that man. So, I hope he's doing well on the other side of the world. Well, other side of the continent. I don't think he's on the other side of the world yet, but who knows with him. But yeah, if you ever catch his videos live and he's doing live chat, guys, tell him I sent you, and tell him to bug me. I'd love to do a live stream. Maybe I can set up something through StreamYard, which I'm trying to teach myself. To do something with him. It could be fun. But getting back to rolling on what we're talking about this week. Hold on. And that's the end of my beverage. Anyhow. Wonderful. Wonderful thesis. I'm glad to hear it. Look that one up, and if you want an interesting video, because everything's internal on the internet, I believe it is using a guided parry. I believe it's how it's phrased. Something like that, where Sword Sage needed a very talented, essentially, target dummy to do stuff. And if you pay real close attention, you will see me pinch parry a live steel sword. Woo! It was semi-blunted, but that tip wasn't. And yeah, that's an adventure. Go look that video up at some point. But well, I'm glad you guys pulled in because I love chatting you up. I love answering questions and commentary. I'm really also it probably was through Skullgrim. I found Skullgrim through Sword Sage because I knew Sword Sage in person. I may have seen Skull. I don't know. I may have seen Skull. I've seen Skull, and anyone who knows me knows I've had opinions on Chad for a long time. I used to watch Lindy Beige a lot, but he kind of fell off. And Matt Easton, of course, Skull Gladiatoria and the Metatron. I mean, I don't get to watch them as much, largely because I'm kind of busy with other things, but it's good. Military cavalry saber. Hang on, Joe. Guys, let me see. Yeah, give me just a second. Hi. This is a straight saber, very, very close to the patent model. I have two. It has a patina. I want to clean up, but I don't want to damage it. And this is a live steel, about 38-inch blade, I believe. Let me check real quick. Yeah, it's a 38. But you can absolutely do devastating things, although this is much more built for a straight thrust. Because if you look at the grind, it has basically an eye bar as a grind with that double fuller. So it is a very stout spine. And the edge is not in any way, shape, or form currently sharp, but that tip, even though unsharpened, would just end lives. It is superbly balanced for what it does. It is a long weapon. Well, it's balanced enough that I just did a play chop and I have my wrist braces off to rest. Oh, that's okay. So yes, absolutely. What you can do with a cavalry saber is decapitate, remove arms, run people through. Cavalry sabers are devastating and effective if properly made. The reason I don't own many sabers, even though I quite love them, Joe, is it's twofold. First off, I will not own anything modeled after the CSA, the Confederate States of America, because I don't support people who are traitors. And during that point, even though they were folded back in, while they were accepted historically as American veterans, both sides of the war were when Reconstruction brought in. During that time, I would never fly that flag. Many other sabers are either based on Marine Corps sabers or other period officer sabers, and as they are part of the uniform of a military officer, I am not comfortable owning or using one because I am not an officer in said organization. We live in a world where a whole lot of people will rapidly and quickly attach themselves in reality or in jest to the the way most people, it borders on stolen valor in some cases. In mine, it's simply I don't believe in flying colors that aren't mine. I love this, but I will not wear this headband in certain areas where it has meaning because I am not a part of any organization that would claim that color. Um, I'm very cautious about these things, in part as tactical, in part out of respect. You just don't fly colors you haven't earned. I proudly define myself as a fat civilian against stolen valor. That being said, I do understand the mechanics of sabers, and an unmarked saber based on appearance would be something I probably would like. Uh, or is obviously, there there is no one going to get confused thinking I was a colonial Spanish officer. I won't fly those guns, but I do love me a Bilbao. So I love a saber. I can show you practical methods. I can send you links. Uh, I have George Patton's book. I have a couple books on saber floating around. They're mostly behind me right now. And whenever I get to the Strong Sword, which is another novel in the series, I have the simple spear that I need to do. I have the Swordmaster's Guide, the Poor Swordmaster's Guide to Arms and Armor in the works, and then I'll probably really settle down and try to dig back into the Strong Sword. Uh, most swords aren't as heavy as one would expect. Hollywood has done a great thing, especially with medieval swords, making them believed to be heavier than they are. You have to remember, this is a practical weapon. This is also why I get into it with Shad, because while a great sword is nowhere near as large and as cumbersome as they are often depicted, or less, but they used to be, uh, they are a big item to carry, and that's why as primaries, one-handed as sidearms, lighter swords were more popular. I have discussed drunken fencing as a mindset and methodology. I am myself a teetotaler, so I don't want any confusion. I have an allergy to alcohol. It is my family. We break out in handcuffs. But uh, look, I missed something. I'm sorry that you don't. That's one thing I can disagree with you politically, dramatically and passionately, if you can be civil about it, and if folks can be civil, uh, the, Saber's briefer style. It's something you should look up. Okay, before Saber, let's wield in practice section. Fencing foils are great. I have an ornate one right now that I wouldn't fight with, but since you're here, I can grab it. Fencing foils are incredibly light. I have to put my braces back on. I take them off because it gets a little hot. Rectangular blades for people who don't know. This is obviously not classic rig, but they weigh only a few ounces. They are very light, very fast. This is my Elven Thin Blade, which was made mostly to wear to events where I couldn't wear live steel and to really annoy some marshals. Because they would love to tell me that I can't fight with that. And I would say, I know I can't fight with that. It is a decoration. Anyway. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're looking to fight Saber, actually, you know what? Purple Heart Armory, if you go through my affiliate link, and because you're going anyway, I might as well get the credit for your traffic, has a wonderful set where you can get some plastic training sabers and a book on how to fight with them. But sabers tend to be dramatically heavier. You may really like something like this, which this is considered a practical rapier blade. Ooh, I need to clean this up. I need some new 3-in-1 oil. This is a 30-inch blade, minimal grip, pommel. This is a very, very light, fast weapon, but it has enough where you could cut. If I were to edge a weapon and I needed one all the time, I could definitely go for this if I was going metal. And as you can see, it's seen some use. I need to clean all my weapons up. One of these days, when I get my study cleaned up, I might just set up a live stream where I'm just sitting here cleaning up the weapons and talking to folks. You know what? Let me ask: is that something you guys would be interested in? Sometime probably this winter, me setting up a live stream where all I'm doing is talking to you guys like I normally do while I clean and repair old fencing gear and see what I can save that was damaged in the flood. So yeah, kick into that. Let me see. Yeah, real drunken fencing is a very bad idea. I was in a bout with a gentleman I did not realize was inebriated until he hopped. I thought he was goofing around pretending, and he was actually intoxicated. He ended up getting speared in the derriere with the steel leg of a clay throwing machine. Because he tried to do a flechette, which is a leaping lunge, about the most anti-Nick move anyone could do, and did not succeed, tumbled, and there was some dual wielding and things went bad. Oh yeah. So it needs to go. Let's see. Um really, guys, if you, one thing, if you want to look at my book and you have Kindle Unlimited, it is eligible for Kindle Unlimited. You can just flip through. And if you're going to buy it, please flip through it first, because then I get paid by Amazon for the pages you look at, and then I get paid again for you buying it. So, it's a great way to pay me twice while you're only buying it once. But yeah, I talk about the basics of swordsmanship, and the simple sword is designed to make roughly any sword go. Let's see. Start. Let me see. It looks like I've missed something. Is it live? Okay. Okay. It did it again. I'm sorry, guys. It keeps bumping me to top chat and not live chat, so occasionally people's comments get blocked. It's very strange. Let's see. Drunken fencing. Yes, that was a bad idea. When people start treating me badly when we disagree on certain things, it's because that's why I distance them. So it's basically telling me, F your feelings, time to move on. Exactly. Guys, what we need in America is far less debate and far more honest discussion. And that requires the ability to critically think. This might shock you, but if you can prove a case to me that proves my belief in something that it is factual, is incorrect, I will change my view. That's the basis of the scientific method. That's why in science things change with new information. It's the basis of all mental flexibility. You need to be able to take in new data and adjust to it. It is very necessary, both as a tactical skill and as a social one. And we have lost that. People are so busy picking sides and letting single topics, cut entire people off. That won't help anybody. We need to discuss with the point of understanding each other's. I have people I radically disagree with, painfully disagree with, sometimes even morally. But if we can be civil, I will still be civil and we'll still communicate, because I hope I can, my example can give a new idea to them. Maybe not now, maybe later. And I want to learn things. So I'm all about learning things. Next trainers I want are LK Jin, Training Jin. Then the next ones I will probably be Purple Heart, Kids Jin. So, yeah, I'm really I want to order the Kids Longsword, but they're always out of stock. I'm really, Guys, I'm getting ugly thoughts about ordering the version for Messer, the Penti Messer, the nice one. But that's $100. That's a lot of money to throw at a trainer. But I have a weakness for Messers. There's a part of me that wants to get the Kriegsmesser because that's basically my processing of the Vampire Hunter D sword, and I am a big jork. But yeah, let me see. So yeah, I get that. Let's see. Oh, okay. There's she talked about that. My tree birds are angry at the rain. Oh, I know. If it wasn't for I'd look. You are petite, Foxy, but there's nothing wrong with that, and you are statuesque, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I feel like maybe what America needs is a calming tea, maybe 2 months nap. But what I do know, what do I know? I'm watching from the outside. You're not wrong. What America needs is for Americans to remember that they're Americans and we're all supposed to be working together. We've been divided to sell more pizzas, in my opinion. That's that's corporate. Sorry, basic economics. If you can get people not to share a pizza, and there are two people, you sell two pizzas instead of one. Made a huge rift where I think it's been encouraged to prevent collective bargaining, but I really believe we just need to realize, hey, I have friends, I have neighbors I disagree with passionately, but I'm still civil, I'm still helpful, and we're still good people to each other because that's what America is supposed to be about. Uh, and it's funny, I support America. I support Americans. We're good people. I'm not always fond of some of the corporate entities, and I disagree with some people in charge respectfully. I'm not disagreeing with the office. I'm just disagreeing with the policy. And that's part of what makes America great is that we can actually say, I disagree with you. But it's when we get vehement or violent or problematic. So that's why I get on Twitter and I don't have much trouble with anybody because I'm like, let's make games, draw cool stuff, and have a good time. That's what I'm about. While we're doing that, if we can help each other, that's my platform, that's my policy. Let's build each other up. And I really don't care. That's why I can have people who are incredibly social justice warrior minded and people who are incredibly conservative in other fashions and different genders and stuff. Because, guys, that's not axes I care about. We're all people. We're all sentient. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Johnny. It is almost embarrassing to me how much I enjoy just drawing on whiteboards and doing landscape stuff. I worked really hard to be good at cartooning, and I love that cartoon fantasy stuff. But those who don't know, I do have an art web page, and you can track where my hands got damaged and how they've gotten better by my art, obviously, but I still work through. And that's www.deviantart.com/NickT. Yeah, I know that page has some associations. Foxy? No, 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 no. If you draw and your hands work, pick up a scrap of paper, pick up a pen or paint, and just do it. Yeah, oh yeah. Absolutely, Joe. The the plastic trainers they're a little blocky if you're looking at Purple Heart Armory. I literally spend a lot of time. What I do is I buy budget trainers and I review ones that are worth having and ones that aren't. And I help develop styles so that people can get a basis. Because once you have a basis understanding, you can go through manuals and look through and look at the pictures and go, you look through the pictures, you look at the descriptions, and you can figure out, I like this style. I don't like this style. I'm all about becoming an Ollivanders for swords. And guys, be sure to hit the like button. Right now, it looks like everybody active has, but just in case you haven't, be sure to hit that because I am fighting that algorithm hard. You know what, Foxy? I want to talk. We're gonna talk about one of my great things. The axes that matter are the wrist, elbow, shoulder, hips. Oh, okay. I assume you're talking about those axes don't matter and what does are physical axes. And yes, and if not, I may have derped. I'm trying to follow the commentary and it doesn't like me. But Fox, there are only two reasons, basically, that somebody is clumsy or clumsy on the field. One, they have some kind of physical condition that impairs their balance. This should be checked with doctors. Get your inner ear checked. Make sure your limb length are the same or close. Mine aren't. Things like that, and then treat it. The other is attention. Paying attention and focusing on things is the way to go. Thesis, absolutely put your it's on. I don't put my photography up on my DA site very often. I probably should, so I may be bordering on the hypocrisy because the people who know me through Facebook know I put a lot of photos of like the sunset. I have a good panorama. Part of it I don't is a friend of mine actually used the reference points of the things to figure out where I live, and I found that rather creepy. So I'm a little hesitant to share some of that. I'll have to figure it out. But Steve is very much his arts are food and fighting. His food is Steve's food is a passion. It's something I greatly enjoy, and it is an honor to have somebody like him cook for me when he comes out. It really is, and there's nothing like I can't say that enough. Okay, if you're paying attention and either you have a nervous condition like actual in your nervous system, or something else is going on. If it's you're not able to, slow repetitive training will build it up. The only way to get good is to move slow. You want that slow, repetitive, every time, no rush. You want to get where you can uh, uh, but you want to get where you can do it unconsciously because that's what fighting is. I can sit and cut even with something that's relatively heavy as this collage cutter, and the shot's going to hit the same way. I hope I'm not going too fast. I don't want to trigger blinkiness for Cindy Kep, which is why I usually turn my fan off. If you're ever having trouble, message me and it will alter. I will do whatever it takes. But yeah, Johnny, I associate with some very colorful individuals, and many of them are very, 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 very intelligent. Neuro issues and connective tissue issues. You are in very good company, Foxy. And like I said, it's either physiological or mental. We can work with both. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, in this case, it was a matter of figuring out the pattern of the uh, windmills, and then just Google Earthing it. It, like I said, it wasn't hard, and I understand how easy it is to find somebody, especially somebody who doesn't. I don't run a lot of I'm going to hide behind screen names, in part because I understand how basically useless they are in a lot of circles. But and that's okay. That's part of accepting the reality of trying to help people that you don't see in person. And through that, I've helped a lot of people. I've talked a lot of people down from some dark places. I've been able to, my books have sold in Brazil and Germany and Australia and China, Japan. I think in Afghanistan actually. I have to look. And I've my the Simple Sword has popped up all over. And what makes me really happy is when I see it, my book pop up somewhere out, especially out of the country, and then I see 2 or 3 more in that country within the next couple weeks. That means people are seeing it. That means they're training with it. Exactly, Steve. I have no illusions. But then again, I grew up with no illusions on that front for much more complex things. That's why I do things like say hi to the algorithm and the people watching. It's fun. I can, you know what? As somebody with a tremendous speech impediment, Johnny, I respect that. And I never intentionally mean insult. I have nerve damage in my tongue. So I have to talk about it and I have to do what I can. So I appreciate when people give me something easier to call them. There's a running joke about that in certain circles, but I can't talk about them here. Um, yeah, it's always there's always light after the dark. Yeah, and a lot of what we do is my job is just trying to help people find it where possible. And I can't win them all, and I haven't. I've lost a few, but I tried. And I think, you know, I don't know who said it. I know it's been attributed to Bruce Lee, but then again, I think everything under the sun's been attributed to Bruce Lee. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. Uh, you know, that is my way. That is the way my family has taught. That is the way I walk. Yes, yes. I bit through my heh. As a kid, I bit right through my tongue. So uh, that's why I try to find ways to. I work around it, but I also accept it. I don't. Oh my god! I've had people walk up to me and go, "You can't teach martial arts. You're fat and gimpy." I'm like, "Oh, I'm fat. Oh my god, where did this come from? I'm gimpy. I wasn't a minute ago. Come on, guys. Be like water. Yeah. Well, I thank you, Foxy. I try. Uh, that's why I do this every week. I want to help the folks who I can't hug y'all. I am not a superhero, so I'm not big or strong or rich or powerful. I can't just like wave a magic wand and be like, do 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 do, everything's better. But I can be here. I can listen. I can give the best advice I'm managed from a sincere perspective. And I can talk to folks on one line while I can text folks on one line while on the phone with authorities on the other. I've done that too. There are some people who absolutely hate my guts because I didn't let them do some stuff. Right or wrong, happens. And everybody has mistakes, and everybody there's red in everybody's ledger. But I just want to help folks. That's why we're doing it. That's what the Simple Sword is about, guys. You'll notice I'm not out here. I need to make money. Money's nice, and I certainly could use it. But what I'm about is helping you guys uh, get what you need. And even if all you need is chuckling at a guy in Hawaiian shirt with funny voices, then I'm doing my job. So, thank you. Thank you. You guys are great. I have it is staggering how appreciative some like you guys, the folks on Red Valkyrie Presents when I DM for them, GM, whatever. I'm running a game. There's a point in your life when if you've walked a certain path, you are very comfortable with dealing with insults and assaults, you know, but kindnesses and appreciation always kind of shock you. Uh, no capes. I'm that guy. I am proud to be a support character in some of you guys' lives. And that's what I can. If all I can do is help somebody get a grin or learn a new way to defend themselves and see some value in themselves, uh, then I'm doing my job. But it ain't easy, guys. But it needs to be because somebody has to try. And like I said, I may fail, but I try. And yeah, I will tell you the next book I put out because somebody was asking will be for a spear book. I'm really thinking it will be a book on spear and polearm, maybe staff, roughly in this little format. They seem to sell well. People like little books. This is a master thesis right here. This is the what to go. This is how I can build on that, and then the next one will be the strong sword, and that's going to just take a while. But yeah. Oh, a fun one, and I'll probably put it up on the put it up on the Facebook public group. But exactly. Um, Somebody was commenting about the in 19 years Obi-Wan went from looking like this to looking like this. And I shared a picture of me graduating in class of 2000 and a picture of me now. And it's like, yeah, it happens. There's some simplicity, hon. Circle, blah. Circle cloaks are not that difficult to make. My wife has made them before. You look into it. If you have any sewing thing, if not, that's what like Etsy is for. Yes, Obi-Wan did. And yeah. There are there are some people who could do it, and I know, like I said, I know through Etsy you can find some cloak people. I don't know if there are guildies who are currently doing them, but we can talk. Um, Steve, if you'll share the link and okay, Cindy kept. I didn't even think if you're looking for like a fashion or crocheted anything, talk to Cindy Kep. She made my manatee, who is on my couch right now because um I was asked about him, so I took a picture. But oh, she makes the coolest stuff. But yeah, look her up. I've been trying to get her to make sure she has a site where you can get one. No, no, no. I can hand stitch. It just is not pretty. My father was a sailor, so of course I can sew. It's just sewing machines, and I let me see. I don't know if you can still see it. There used to be a row of little tiny scars down this finger. And I don't know if you can you can still see a couple of these little rhythmic scars. I got distracted in my freshman year whilst sewing a stuffed bat as a project and stitched my finger to said bat. And when I asked for a seam ripper, the home ec instructor gave me flack till I said, "Well, I kind of need it," and wove the bat. But yeah, so basically, threads store entropy. String and thread store entropy. I am an entropy magnet. It goes nuts around me, so string arts go boink. That's my theory. Enemies. Wait. Let me see what I'm currently working on. Giants. I might get a hold of Cindy. No. It's the closest thing I have. Any more of that? And I don't know why you're saying enemies, Foxy. Oh, yeah, it became a vampire bat. That was a running joke about it. Yeah, that place. I'll tell you what about. Uh, no. I do not knit. I do not crochet. I do not sew. And yet, vampire bats. My wife can, but she's dealing with some physical therapy in her arms and hands right now. That's why she doesn't help me with the spear demos, even though she's better with a pole arm than I am. Yes, I said that. I stand by it. I am very good with weapons, but I know where my strengths are, and my wife is better with a pole arm. John taught her well, and she learned from more people after that. Uh, that's why I'm a fencer, and she fought with a 7.5 foot glaive. Oh, sewing machines, yes. Oh, the journals are amazing. Thesis's journal is it's one of my prized possessions. It is over by the wall of cool right now. But yeah, we don't just a second. Anyway, don't mind that. That's just situational. Yeah, guys, thanks for people who put up with the Shoggoth invasions. It really is quite annoying. But, you're gonna have that. When my office became my office, the rules got a little different because it's part of the house, but not. It's iffy. Just take me around. Okay. Oh yes, absolutely. I am, if anything, obscenely accurate with Nerf guns. You see, my brothers and I, who I live away from, and I do miss you guys. If on the off chance you're watching, I miss you. Would have epic Nerf battles, and there were points where we were shooting darts out of the air at each other. So, well, yeah, she wouldn't know what to do with me. Um, I miss you guys. Right now in my region, the COVID numbers are higher than they were in the peak of 2020. So that's why I haven't tried to have a practice. It's less to protect me and more to protect anybody who would come out. And I'm not going to comment on pole arms and uh, consistency. Let me see. Oh yeah, and yeah. See, the doorway keeps cracking, and occasionally my son likes to peek in when he's not supposed to. So, or I persuade other things through parental applied logic. And this is cute. It can't look. Isn't that adorable? Here, look. Get ready for James Bond. Let me see if I can do this right. It's gonna go black for just a second. Dun da 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 da. Copyright violation. Parody code. Anyway, so that works. But God, I'm in the mood, folks. And that is okay because that's what we need, folks. We need positivity, energy, and entertainment, and that's what I'm going to try to bring to you. So, across this week, my Patreon members will get to see the spear review video and the top 3 offhand video. I intend to do a few more as weather allows. And if I can get a nice, cool, overcast day, Johnny, you and I have similar opinions of the sun. I've no sword master. Dun dun dun. Yeah. I will say this: there's still in a few places in the world where the tone of my voice is enough to make certain people flee in terror, abandoning their families. And I'm okay with that. But now, mind you, a couple of those places are under other names, but ain't that the fun? If you ever got at least one shady alias in the mount. Oh yeah, that's what hats are for. You know, the sun being hot means I need to be underwater. Plus, the boat you're talking about is far enough north where the sun is still angling. You know, this going south at all where it starts to get more like hate lines. I want nothing to do with the equator. I do not want like this. No. Nice, kitty. Um I do love dancers are some of the funnest people to train and sword fight with. Um I've dabbled with teaching some belly dancers some sword work because they were working on the balance routines and what have you. So, it's like if you're going to carry a sword, let's check its actual swordy balance and let's get you trained up how to do harm to people with it. Just because, yeah, it's a blunted, just, demo sword, but there's nothing wrong with uh I'm sorry, Steve said we need to plan a trip north before we sell it. Oh, Steve, that's tragic. The thought of it, and y'all don't need to know what we're talking about. Thought of it getting sold. That's tragic. That's a paradise. But yeah, I can't. I have to go through a lot of trouble to get what I can only imagine, Johnny. I don't. Yeah, I you live in a very interesting part of the world. I live in a rather uncomfortably boring, but yeah, the sun is very different for you. I could not do it. That is beautiful, Kitty. I love the concept of that. I trust you do follow what's her name? Flo Mayhem. If you don't, you really need to. Anybody who enjoys artistic martial arts overlap and fire should follow Flo Mayhem's channel. She's a fascinating individual. And yeah, it's like, oh, and yes, there are people who go, oh, and she's hot. Well, yes, she's an attractive, athletically built woman, but I'm far more impressed with her skill set than her physical attributes. But that's part of who I am. She never stops moving. Yeah, I love people who can never stop moving. I never stop fidgeting until I like collapse. Collapsing is good. I like collapsing. Like, pardon me, I'm going to cease to exist for a while. Let me go back to my Borg recharge station. No, Johnny, no. No, no, no. No. No, Johnny. I No, I do not want to deal with what happens with her critically bobbitizing her own tail because she tried the Hello Karambit to her tail in game. Please don't. Anyway, but yeah, I get that. I've also found out that if you know Bilotti, which is a rhythm on a hand drum, and you play it for any length of time, belly dancers appear. I don't know if that's just me or if that's a general thing. But I used to pull out my drum while I was waiting for my wife at the podiatrist, and I'd be out in the parking lot, doom doom tekka tekka doom tekka tek, doom doom tekka tekka doom tekka tek, doom doom, and I'd open because I get into it. So you close your eyes, doom doom tekka tekka doom tekka tek, and there's people dancing around me. That's awesome, Silver. I love the idea of her show, but I can never make the Friday night regeneration cycle because I do this. No, it makes sense. I understand that mentality. I have I don't know what I. You know what, guys? I'm always wondering what people put me in like RPG, race, class, etc. attitudes. I always find that interesting because it's very telling to me what part of me you all have gotten to see and who's seen what. So yeah. Oh, okay. Look. Here we go. Luke. Anyway, shredded the axe, man. Wow. No, I was before my hands went flash numb. I was teaching myself cigar box guitar, little 3-string because I'm kind of funky. But oh no, now that's playing. I do that. I do Bilotti on a hand drum, and I have actually a small litany of songs I can play either on a panpipe or my D tin whistle. Many of them around Christmas. Yeah, Johnny. Yeah, have no doubt that like right now, Luke is just finding a way to shock his friends with lightning for no apparent reason. It's one of my games, and if folks are interested in what Johnny Cage and Slyvar Ogre and I are talking about, what you want to do is look up a group called Red Valkyrie Presents over on YouTube. RV Presents. It's got a blue and red kind of winged sword logo, and every Wednesday night, 8:30 to 12:30, that's midnight and change, I run the game for Dice Dames and Dudes. Oh, I have minimal talent in music. Minimal. It's mostly used to annoy. Although I do like bringing out the whole Christmas songs. And I have a list of things I want to. Oh, see, that's cool. I should never sing, though frequently do. My voice is a blight upon this earth, and that was before I had throat injuries that damaged my range. My wife is probably hating me, but Bull, you've heard me play. Heard me play what? I can improvise a little bit on a panpipe or a tin whistle, and Lil Bilotti, uh, and a little. I don't know what I'm doing on the guitar, but you know it. I watched Desperado too many times. Okay, uh, the first CD I bought myself was the Desperado soundtrack. I could chirp reasonably well. Now I do whistle. I whistle and I whistle a lot. Oh, who's talking about throat singing with the Who? HU. Oh, okay. Yes. I'm sorry. I had what's lovingly called the comment dump. Yeah. Hey, the air guitar national championships are fun. I like them. I like the Gels marble runs. Those are far more entertaining. Uh, but yeah, it's funny. We have a local bluegrass festival. Desperado, Despacito, Desperate Cheeto, Shrug. Anyway, no, Desperado, not the Eagles song, although I do love the Eagles. Yes, I'm white. I accept it. But the Antonio Banderas Selma Hayek flick that had the unnecessary sequel. But Santana, Tito, and Tarantula, and Antonio himself is a surprisingly talented guitarist and singer because of course he is. But yes, the Desperado soundtrack, look it up sometimes. You can hear the whole thing through YouTube as playlists. It is fabulous. A little bit of Dire Straits in there. You know, music for driving through the desert when you're a fugitive. No, not the Lorenzo Lamas TV show. No, not the Lorenzo Lamas TV show. I am talking about the last. See, Desperado has a special place in my heart because it is one of the last films made in the pre-Matrix school of gunfights. That means there's no wire foo, very limited. The stunts, it feels like a Western gone right. It has Danny Trejo dying, and that's necessary for any Mexican movie. Is Danny Trejo needs to be a bad guy and die. It's just necessary. Uh, But hi, Brian. Folks, I do want the usual shout out to Brian of Rising Tide. My hyper realistic graphic was taken out by the Shoggoths, so I have a new one. And Brian, I will be adding that commercial that our good friend Dan Hollifield made up to some of my videos, assuming my nebulous editing skills will let me patch it in there to plug the glory that is the Rising Tide broadcast session. I talk about Brian frequently. You guys, that's him right now, where it says Brian K. Morris / Rising Tide. Click on his little link as soon as this is over and follow him, please, so you can hear me in the comments haranguing him Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and other times. But I'm not Stef, I'm not discouraged about the music. It's the mechanical neuropathy. I have to do physical therapy to get it back. Oh, always, Brian. I plug you when you're not here, and when I'm well, thank you. But that's why I've had to stop most of my musical efforts. I can't trust my fingers to do what I tell them to do, and usually when they're playing, my fingers play piano without me knowing how sometimes, and then they go on strike. It will be a while before I'm confident playing music around anyone, just because I'm fighting incooperative. But I uh, Steph is an incredibly talented music instructor. It's just well, if I can teach people to adaptively sword fight, I can adapt to my needs throughout my life, and that's what I get to do every day. But other than that, guys, this is good fun, and that's what we need. We need good fun. So in the future, my Patreon members are getting 2 new videos. After they get to see them, you get to see them, because that's part of my way of thinking. I am working on again 2 nonfiction projects, one of which is the Poor Sword Master's Guide to Arms and Armor. I'm just kind of really ramming into the writer's block, organizational block. Nonfiction is tricky, guys. Fiction is for me is easy because I'm a pantser. And for those who don't know, that means I write by the seat of my pants. Most of the time, I don't know the end of the story till I get there, at least through my first take. And nonfiction has, of course, to be very organized and planned and sorted out. So it's a different left brain, right brain thing. But ooh. All my stimulus money went to maintaining things around here, some unexpected medical things, and some unexpected repairs. But hopefully, in the near future, I will be spending some money to make my life a lot better. In fiction, you could always say a wizard did it. And when I write fiction, there's usually a wizard to be involved. Game design is interesting because it's between fiction and nonfiction. It's really a weird place because you have to keep to the rules and the explanations. Sorry, Steve. It was the sorcerer the whole time. No, but gravity's a horrible thing, Steve. But no, I wish her well, like I wish a lot of people. Uh, it's always the wizard. Somewhere Harry Dresden is spinning, terrified that you're talking about him. But folks, we do. Like I said, I have the spear thing. I have that. I know. Oh, that's not that. That's something else. Uh, Still, I appreciate a rose even as it wilts. I would like to know what you guys want. Brian K. Morris, the wizard wants you to blame him, but it's part of his diabolical plan. Yes. The cleric. Okay, Johnny. Do you know how hard I've worked to to keep the cleric from going evil in that mess. And yeah, I got you. I have some real like people on my humble little show right now. And it's a good enough crowd. I might be able to keep going for a few minutes because I didn't drink 16 gallons of stuff. Don't shoot the other players yet. You go. Oh, if you follow the mess that is that live stream, absolutely. Somehow y'all rolled like a 20 to get me all discombobulated, and I didn't. No dice were rolled. I don't know how y'all did it, but I'm proud of you. It's all just as bad influence, pretty much. Let the hate flow. Right. Or as I've learned, don't destroy Cleveland. We made it like that's one thing I have to do because of that. At some point, I have to write a book that involves the utter destruction of Cleveland, simply because of that reference. Oh, of course. Well, that was back when Dresden was a detective and not just slowly creeping into being another sword and sorcery book because he's sold out to the freaking Winter Court. Yeah, Harry. That's right, drum boy. You heard me. You sold out. You made a deal. Eyes on you, Captain Hockey Stick. Anyway, I'm bringing Nick's podcast. Well, there was a mistake in the order of the hail pail, but yeah, podcatheter, trademark of Brian K. Morris, Risingtide Publications. But yeah, guys. So what I need to know from you is what videos you want, which sub. Yep, there it is, the hail pail. And if you want to know what we're talking about there, you really need to follow Never Mind the Furthermore, where I, the mighty Manatee Man, have been known to manifest magnificently. I can either type or speak, and I'm thinking in type because I'm used to talking to these guys. Nat 20 for everyone. The glasses came off. Woo! We won. Oh wait, I lost. Oh no. But I serve you, so you guys tell me what you want focused on, and I'll do some videos on it. As the temperature drops, I'm going to be able to do more scripted, non-live videos where it's like, here, we're talking about the subject, we're getting through it. Double verbal damage. Oh, yeah. Oh. So much vicious mockery. But yeah, the folks who know. Like, I honestly think Shay's the only non-evil person on that party. But guys, come watch it. It's a good time. And I really cut loose because I don't have to be as formal as I am on this show. Think about what I just said. But other than that, like I said, I do have some projects in the works. I've suspended something while I was making my original deal with Luke Stone that I want to revisit because I've done all the crunch work for it. Oh, it's going to be glorious. And it's a culmination of many, many years of work in game design on tabletop. So big stumpy robots or something. Roughing the listener. 3 oversharing. 3 beer penalty. You're cooler. Yes. Yeah, this the only time I get, you don't want to see me more formal than that, because if I'm more formal, then it is an actual serious situation, and nobody wants to deal with that. I want to be in situations where I can have 2 types of Hawaiian print on me at any given time. Well, that's, like I said, not scripted, but it's, we're going to go on topic. We're going to talk about how to make this sword go. And I speak in that grade of term, that level of linguistics. Can I use proper vocabulary of international origin? Certainly I can. But if I do, people will be like, and you're not going to learn anything if you're snoring and squeaking. So, yeah, the dude abides. That's all. That's awesome, by the way, Cindy. I just want to abide. Oh, Steve, you don't know. I've been live streaming for a couple months now on Red Valkyrie Presents, running what was supposed to be a short module that went completely drained with a bunch of people who didn't know. So, hold on. I will attempt this. If it bumps me, I'm sorry. Boom. Copy. Paste. That is the link for Red Valkyrie Presents, and if you follow the Dice Dames and Dudes playlist, you'll find, like, I don't know, couple months worth. I think we're 12 or 14 episodes in, something like that, of me running an ongoing RPG game. Johnny, you don't need to tell me that. I am intimately acquainted with that. But and yeah, that's where things get a little more, I don't know, shenanigan, get a little bit more of a shenanigan even. Why can't I say shenanigan anymore? Like, have I been wounded in the shenanigan organ of my mind? Like, am I going to have a shenaniganectomy? I don't know. The words that are falling out of my mouth are missing. No, Ogre, Ogre, my dear and noble friend. And Ogre's a Patreon person. Okay, several of these people are kind enough to help me keep the lights on, and I love all of them. But that was like a cameo taste. When the real Slyvar Ogre shows up to get stuff done, all I need to know, good sir, is what you want that alignment to be, because you will either be very good or very bad, and that's up to you. So hit me up with that. But yeah, hey, that's okay. It's a 4-hour plus gaming session every Wednesday night because, as Brian can tell you, I'm not involved with enough broadcasts. I'm not either commenting or writing or doing things on broadcasts. I'm not hopping up on different people's shows. Nah, that never happens. And to those who don't know, I'm happily one of Brian's substitute guests in case a guest, gets sick or gets struck by a bus or is summoned to the alternate plane of whatever. There's always me, because I've got something to throw somebody else. I hear that, and that is such a privilege to be entertaining. Like, that you guys let me into your lives and let me cheer you up is really a privilege for me, because that's all I want to do is make people happy and educate them, make them feel better about themselves. It's well, yeah, like it's, feel free to come crash them and or check them up. They're setting them up as a playlist, and they're even talking about doing merch. I may get some snazzy shirts, but you guys make this possible, okay? The people who hop on, let's see. Let me look at this list, because Thesis and Foxy are both Patreon members. Ogre's a Patreon member. Brian and Cindy are Patreon members. Steve's a Patreon member. The folks that I am talking to in this comment, Stef, I think, is a Patreon member, are the people who make this show possible. They're what let me get the money to be able to buy trainers and go, don't buy this or buy this. They let me make sure my light, I have this sexy background because of my Patreon. When I redo this study, which is coming soon, basically it needs to not be 90 degrees in here during the day so that I can do it. They'll be responsible for the awesome upgrade I am planning. Because I am planning things. Realize I am always scheming. But then again, do I look like a man with a plan? I know you're a Patreon, Steph. My brain was looking at Morningstar and it broke like the file system. So yeah, most of the people here are actually my Patreon members, and you guys are awesome. I can't do this without you. So I tried to do like, what can I do to better your day and keep things entertaining? Makes a year to play. A couple of years ago, I never played. I got taste for it, and I haven't got 2 cents. It's kind of bittersweet, honestly. Dude, if only. Exactly. Foxy, you beautiful woman. You just read my mind. If only we could set up some kind of. And Frog G. Frog G is on my Patreon, but he wasn't in the chat. Well, he was in the chat earlier, and he might still be lurking. But yeah, Frog G is like another Cindy Kep. They're just these people who manifest awesomeness. I could set up a Patreon game night. At least a one shot, we could set something up. So I'm stone cold serious. If things really get out of hand, once this whole viral thing settles, we'll get as many locals. Yeah, Frog G is the frog. There are people in this world I will not let anybody talk down on for any reason. Most of them are in this list. Frog G is also one of them. Oh god. Okay, I will tell you right now what I am running out of. It's down here because of Shoggoths. Is the basic fantasy. I run out of this because you can download the whole book free, and it plays. I need a replacement binder ring. Thank you for reminding me. Like this. This is the book that got me into RPGs. Oh, Johnny, the way I play, you don't need much math. I'm dyscalculic. That means numbers float around for me. So I run math light systems. It's like, but Nick, you do game design and process statistics. I cheat. I color code things. And when I'm figuring it out, I pull out a large whiteboard and I write everything big so it can't sneak up on me. And see, things like that are totally doable. The other thing is I do a lot of tabletop tactics gaming, hence Big Stompy Robots. Yeah. Oh, the King of Frogs. Frog G is just amazing to the point where there is a Frog Knight. Well, there was. He kind of bit it hard last week. There were mecha involved. I mean, your D&D games don't have mecha. Anyway, get them over a little math game. Well, I mean, that depends on how many people want to do all-female wrestling and look up AWF Primetime, which is the game I did the background for to set up for the amazing Joe D. McPhee, also known as From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, which is fun for me to say. There will be a 3.0. Frog, yeah. Oh, well, hybrid. Oh, see, you missed that I already plugged hybrids. I've been plugging that early. And yes, hybrids, once it comes out, the full version, I admit, is in hiatus on my end because Luke Stone is suffering the ramifications of coronavirus. But Hybrids the Sons of Gods, the role-playing game, I wrote this. Luke added the art. Several people play tested it. It is fun. It is fast. It is rules light. And it has easy to read maps. But yeah, I love gaming, and I love gaming that it's almost like anybody who's read my approach to, say, sword fighting, or my approach to tabletop tactics games like Big Stumpy Robots or Melee, the game of modern recreation. Basically, I made a simplified tactics game for tracking small unit tactics with medieval backgrounds called Melee. Please look it up. Um, Arrangements can be made, Kitty. Like there are sort of game nights in the future because I love gaming. It's almost like I love helping people have fun. And while I want to apologize to anyone who's come here expecting serious sword talk stuff. Sometimes we do that. Sometimes we take it light. I'm not sure what it will be interesting to see what you do with maps for your game because your game is very it's a very specific niche. It basically, if you've ever heard of the video game Rumble Roses, uh Jody McPhee's made a world of all female wrestlers with superpowers that is incredible, and it's a lot of fun. And I had the privilege of rolling up and being a dice grease monkey, and it's a lot of fun. I said that already, but yeah, well, it is. My monk has backstory and purpose. Always backstories. Yeah, purposes. You always want to have some reason you're doing things, but let me see. One moment. Anyway, yeah, basically we made an RPG for being able to set up something like Rumble Roses. Loved Rumble Roses. It was a great game. Female wrestling. It's not quite so Japanese flared, but yeah. Oh god. Um those of you who don't know, there is an acquisition specialist who runs around an NPC. His name is Jackie Condor. And he has a very bad day. Bad day, bad day, bad day, bad day, bad day in my other game. So yes. Oh, okay, cool. Cool. I did not realize you were still looking for that. Um let I'll have to, like I said, I got caught up with some real world stuff. So we'll see. Nice. Nice, guys. Character and why do I take gaming so serious? A huge part of why I do what I do is I played D&D and I wanted to do what the characters do. And I'm not talking about the magic business, okay? We're not going to get into the Satanic Panic stuff. Magic is a whole different conversation. But skills, learning how to sword fight, learning how to pick locks as a mental puzzle, as a hey, it's cool. I studied a lot of this and I learned some of it and it's fun. And I like that. Uh so we're definitely going to keep working towards that goal because that's where this all it's like come on sword fight well when I say sword fight guys well I'm weapons across the board. If it has an edge or a handle I can make it go. uh Throw weapons, archery, the works. See, yeah, you guys follow from the desk of a small press publisher. I also one other thing I love doing, it's a little shady, is shamelessly connecting interesting people. And I've done some actually, I've done hand to hand, and I've done hand to hand in a professional setting. It's just I've done far more therapeutic hand to hand in recent years than non-therapeutic. But I mean, I've been formally certified in that stuff. So yeah, it's a thing. I would like to get some more of the joint control stuff and a few other things. But yeah, it's just I will explain what's going on, Steve, about some of the delays in some of our other plans off public list because not everything in my life needs to be laid out for everybody. But it's good, believe it or not. Oh, in wrestling, well, I'll look up the different leagues. I tend to like independent wrestling anyway. ACW looks like it's going to be good. I used to watch some WCW. Yeah, CM Punk was the man. Picking locks is fun. Is NDE techniques for mental entertainment. That's non-destructive entry. It's just a good set of skills to have. Like I have a lot of skills that could be used for criminality, but I choose not to because I'm not a criminal. If you look at my happy sheet, you see that lawful good thing. Point. So yeah, that's what we want. And if what you're seeing right now is I am in a Nick the Catalyst. I am in a process of crossing the streams because in certain circles I'm known as a writer. I'm known as the guy who wrote the Big Stompy Robots novellas and The Simple Sword and things like that. And some circles I'm a game designer known for hybrids for Amazon Wrestling Federation Primetime, AWF Primetime. That's what uh, Jody McPhee's project is. I'm known in that circle as that. Certainly known across different genres as a Western martial artist. In certain circles, I'm known as a more traditional artist through my DeviantArt account and stuff. And what I'm slowly trying to do is pull all these different threads and weave them into something where I could do more good for more people, and interconnect those people because I tend to seek out and attract some really positive individuals. And it makes a gestalt where everyone starts to build you know, um, if life screwed you up, you have to start thinking counterclockwise. What I mean is, when you screw in a screw, it threads in clockwise. And if you do the same thing you've always done, it's going to just dig you deeper. You have to find a way to reverse it, and it's hard and it takes time. But yeah, just because you have the knowledge doesn't mean you have to use it. No, I'm an author, guys. I write things and I write uh adventure stories. I like to write adventure stories. I like sci-fi. I like horror, which means I have to read and know some horrible things. I love fantasy. How can you how can you uh write about a thief and not understand at least the basics of how it goes? I mean, yeah, you can watch a leverage marathon and that won't hurt, but study. I find people fascinating. And I've done great lengths to try to understand why people work and how they work. Several members of my family are that way with mechanics. They look at an engine and the interworkings of the engine, and they're very good at understanding what parts do what. And I can do that to an extent, but I'm much better with looking at people and why they are the way they are, and figuring out what that means and how it can be applied. And I try, like all my stuff, I try to take the knowledge I have and use it for good. Yes, it does. And yeah, but I have a lot of knowledge. And knowledge is power theoretically, but it's how you use it. I want to announce I am not ignoring the awesome wrestling conversation that's going on in the comments right now. I am just facilitating it by providing a venue where folks can converse. I think that's awesome. Even though this is my show, like I say, this is the Historical Fencing Guild. This is not the Nick Talker lectures you on everything because my way is the only way. That's not who I am, and that's not what I'm about. Basically, that essay, False Alarm Guy, is another writer. Yes, I am a writer, and I love MacGyver. I am a product of the late 80s, early 90s, guys. MacGyver and the A-Team were highly influential in my thinking. So was Mr. Rogers, and so was Benny Hill. It gets convoluted. My point is, I see versatility and improvisation as noble, valuable traits. And the best way to do that is to learn random things. But I studied some. Yeah, I have a liberal studies degree from Purdue University. That sounds rather shallow, but I took 8 years to get it, and it has a triple primary, double secondary, meaning my primary focuses were in English, business, and history. My secondary focuses were psych and soc. So I was misled. I was believed anything I primarily focused in, I could then test in to teach because I love teaching. And then I found out, no, they want you to know how to teach, not what you're teaching. So I would have had to restart. So instead, I just finished up what I had. But what it was, you have to understand business to make money. You have to understand writing to communicate, and you have to understand history to live. If you don't understand history, you're doomed to repeat it. Psych taught me how people think inwardly, and that's interesting. Soc taught me how people connect. And I'll be honest, I find sociology far more interesting than psychology because looking at the macro network, it's interesting. Exactly. And oh yeah, I pick up random skills, random interests. Blessed is YouTube, because I can look up nearly any subject and find somebody who knows something I don't know, and I can at least get exposure to the ideas. I mean, we lose track of how glorious the internet really is. When it's done right, you can get information on how to do anything. And this is why I have so many dabbled hobbies. I can blacksmith, I can paint, I can basically traditional art, digital art, limited animation, very ancient, very limited video game design, standard tabletop RPG and tabletop tactics game design, uh, mechanics, plumbing. You look up what you don't know, uh, and it just starts. That's awesome. And here's the thing, please, on the list of things you should never have a doubt getting from me, don't be afraid to fail. I've learned so much more from my failures than my successes. Mind you, I've had a lot more failures than successes. And I learned things that were unintended. And that's what's glorious. But I am proud to say, when it comes to that, they had there was a class called business leadership, and my professor believed in coming in every fourth class. I ended up teaching the class. I got a B in it, only because the marketing campaign he was using as a final, that for a company he worked with, yes, it's that shady, they picked the other group. But yeah, exactly. I've learned stuff. And every once in a while, being wrong will sting. Oh, I loved philosophy. Now, mind you, I treat philosophy exactly like I treat martial arts. I pick what I like and I disregard the rest, although I do study my opponents. Read Machiavelli's The Prince. Read it. You don't live it, my God, no, unless you're a sociopath. But read it and you will understand the mentality of every D-bag manager you've ever had. You'll know what they're about, you'll know how they think. They're not very good versions of it, but that's what they're working toward. It's fascinating. It's like Sun Tzu's Art of War should be required reading for everyone. Voltaire's Candide. Heck, the importance of being earnest. Which book, Steve? I kind of rattled off a few. Another way not to make a light bulb. Yeah, maybe you didn't make a light bulb, but you may have made something that makes a really great delayed fuse. You know, just uh, Post-it notes were a failed adhesive. It was a product that failed. Oh, the Prince. Yeah. Well, see, Steve, and I love you. You do have vaguely sociopathic tendencies, and that's okay. You know it, and you don't usually apply it in a negative way. It's who and what you are, and that's cool. Oh, wait. Oh, okay, sorry. I misread I saw Alistair, and my brain put it to Alistair Crowley, and I was about to say, let's not talk about that, please. The Analects is a fascinating book. I'm a big fan of Marcus Aurelius and the Ethical Atheists, which for someone of faith that surprises people, but I find it so parallel and without the ego so many people attribute to faith. Uh, that and that's what give me, of course, if I were self-serving, I could easily go Thoreau. Like, if I ever stopped in my mission to help others, yeah, see, and Steve understands when I say that I'm not being negative. That's not a negative. It's a diagnostic assessment. He is a good person. I understand Steve's rules. And when you understand people's personal rules, it's relatively simple to deal with them. You know, Steve's fiercely loyal to his people. You just don't want to be not his people. Uh, so exactly. Oh, I do look a little pale, don't I? No, the meds we're talking about is I'll go too long and I need to eat something. Um, but I actually had a larger than normal meal right before, but I am stammering more, so I probably should cut this off pretty soon. It's just fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for keeping a track. I no, I wasn't late with my. I've recalibrated a couple of my meds to not interfere with practice. But oh yeah, but I just got a new copy of Bruce J. Friedman, whatever, Lonely Guy's Book of Life. Now, an excellent philosophical book that would greatly offend Steve. Like, if you want a book, oh yeah, it's 10:35 here. That's my time. It is 10:35 my time. I'm over a half hour late into this, but I am a philosophy geek, amongst other things, or nerd. I think more of a geek because I collect philosophy. Sorry, the problem is I am both a geek and a nerd because a nerd focuses on uh, academic knowledge. A geek focuses on the collection of memorabilia, special interests, and I collect skills and knowledge. So it's, but no, a great book to read for the people who need it is Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. I wouldn't go too far into the series, it gets a little weird, but the first one is excellent. That being said, Steve must never read it because it would set him in a fit of blind and seething rage, because it's diametrically opposed to the vast majority of what Steve is. And that's okay. Well, it's more than just separate. I find they interact in strange ways. But yeah, my current reading, aside from game stuff, because the basic fantasy RPG is something I study a lot right now, trying to keep in that. There are several traditional fencing manuals. There is the lonely guy and the slightly older guy, which involves a sort of polished version of the lonely guy's book of life in part one, and then a sequel from 20 years later. I'm in the process of reading right now. I'm very excited about. Like I said, I like to read plays. I occasionally read Shakespeare for pleasure. I get to read my wife's stuff, which is really cool. So I read Coy Wolf and a few other things. There may be pen names involved, so I'm not going to out anybody. But and my other friends, because I get to read stuff directly. What else am I reading? A book on the Renaissance, just a general knowledge little book on the Renaissance. I love stuff like that, and because I have books I read, books I acquire for reference, and then books I read for pleasure. Like if I'm looking at the bookshelf directly in front of me that isn't pretty much the complete works of Brian K. Morris or nearly, it, which there's so much there you need to read. I've got a mechanical drafting textbook, The Century of Women Cartoonists, the American Journal of Anthropomorphics. I can't remember what that is, like 19 something or other. The Lord of the Rings, making the movie trilogy, Roy Underhill's The Woodwright Shop, a couple of video game guides, Burton's The Book of the Sword, a stack of Anita Blake Vampire Hunter books. Let me see what else is there. Fox and Socks. Well, I read to my son. But yeah. Oh, yeah, I've heard of the Tallhofer Society. That's actually on my to-do list. But right now, my reading list, and since the heinous thing, I'm sorry, I'm going to have an orc rind while I think for a moment. The problem with orc rinds is that they are rather dry. No, I mean it. Look, what's it say? Orc rinds. See, when you start looking into fantasy creature byproducts, the processed rind of orcs is actually quite good. Get that crunch ASMR. That's right. Meat's back on the menu, boys. But see, I have no idea how many books I have, and that's not counting digital ones. Read the Vampire Hunter D novels. They're fantastic. There's like 26 of them. I have a whole bunch of PDFs my wife acquired for me. They are great. Cyberpunk, dystopian, dark fantasy. It's good stuff. But it's been almost 3 hours, and I wasn't planning quite this long a show, and I am out of beverage, and I am eating orc rinds, which means I'll need a drink soon anyway. So thank you for watching out. That I have gotten a bit paler than usual. I do need something to drink and eat. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like. If you've enjoyed this, shared it. If you want to... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Foxy. Well, D does technically try to help a couple Dampiers, and those are his people. Anyway, I love you, Johnny. But folks, please be good to each other. Get your drilling done. We're hitting fall. It's prime fighting season. So get your drilling Make sure you're in shape. Start checking your gear as we get into early winter. You guys have a wonderful night. If you want to support me, please consider becoming a Patreon member. I actually have to get off this, eat this, socialize with the family, and then come back and edit a few hours of video to condense everything down to what I want. I'll see you guys. So be good to each other. Keep your guard up. And as always, support your local sword master.